Well, welcome to the Tanager Sports Report. I am your host, AJ Martin, man, and we got an exciting show for you. What are we going to be covering not only on this show, but coming up here pretty soon? We're going to be covering a preview of the NBA draft. Wow, the NBA playoffs are still going on. We'll dive into a little bit of that now. We're going to have some coaches coming up with us soon. We'll catch up with Coach Peter Way here from OSL very soon in an upcoming show after they had their championship run on the grind session this season. Let's talk about what's going on in the NBA right now. Why we're talking about the NBA? We're talking about the grind session players that are still playing in this grind session playoff, or I should say NBA playoff. The grind session players that first come to mind, a number one pick, DeAndre Ayton with the Phoenix Suns. They're looking very strong against the Dallas Mavericks right now, 2-0 series. And, man, we just want to highlight what DeAndre has meant for the grind session and how we've loved seeing his development, his progress throughout his career. Speaking of his career, man, the guy has been a double-double machine. Last night, he had 9 points in 18 minutes. He's kind of filling out his spot in this matchups, but for his career, he's been about 16 to 18 points a game and over 10 rebounds per season. The kid was drafted his rookie year, 2018. It's time for DeAndre to get paid. You hear me? It's time for him to get paid. Yeah, we're super excited about DeAndre. And I'll tell you, man, he's been a grind session pioneer for us. Obviously, we got a lot of guys that have gone on to the NBA. Gary Trent Jr., we got currently Jalen Green, who got a little bit of chip on his shoulder for not winning Rookie of the Year. We'll get into that here in just a little bit too. But DeAndre is still playing. And then, hey, he has a teammate that made an appearance on the grind session too and played. Devin Booker was another one that was kind of an under-the-radar guy that just really blossomed, and now one of the biggest superstars in the NBA. Who's going to be next? Who's going to be next off the grind session? We got a draft that's coming up this season, this summer here in just a little bit with some top names, man. One of our favorites. Let's start with Tata Washington. Won a grind session world championship. His development and seeing him the past two seasons before going to Kentucky been absolutely amazing. Had a phenomenal freshman year at the University of Kentucky, and it's going to be interesting to see where Tata Washington lands. What type of game is he? If you're not familiar with Tata's game, he's a team-first kind of guy. He's a pass. He's the guy that's going to make the extra pass, make the big shot. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but he is going to wow coaches and organizations with his leadership and his skill ability. You will not find a kid that's going to work harder for a franchise than Tata Washington. We've watched it firsthand. Obviously, the big name. Yeah, it could be the number one pick of the NBA draft, maybe number two. In my opinion, he should be number one for the University of Duke. Yeah, we're talking about Ben Carroll. Yeah, he is the real deal. He is what the advertisement says about him. He is a guy who can stretch the floor. He's very strong. He can be an NBA all-star and have an immediate impact for a franchise. It's going to be interesting to see who's getting those top picks and if he's going to fall number one or number two. Another one, this is the one I really want to get into because everybody kind of like jumped on the bandwagon, not necessarily bandwagon, but just was, introduced to him late. But we're talking about Shayden Sharp. Obviously, he played for Dream City on the grind session, and a kid from Canada with an immense amount of talent, and the ceiling is very high for Shay. And, man, the first time we saw him play, we were just wild. We said, hey, this dude is a lottery pick. And unfortunately, he was able to go to Kentucky, and he made a decision to enter his name in the NBA draft. And I'll tell you, wherever he lands or if he sticks with that decision of going to the NBA this season and getting drafted, again, you have another high flyer. To describe his game, Vince Carter-like with his dunking ability. He definitely has a great shooting touch, great rotation, things of that nature. Obviously, with any player coming out of college and coming off their high school days, and it's always a common thing for them to get stronger. But this kid is going to be absolutely fun to watch. He's going to be a highlight reel. He's definitely a candidate that you want to have in the NBA All-Star dunk contest. That was kind of like a snooze, everybody said, but man, we're eager to see what happens for Shayden Sharp. And we're going to support our guys through and through. And I know we're talking about the big names, but there's a lot of guys that you need to watch out for this upcoming season on the grind session. This Tanager Sports Report is to inform you exactly who you need to watch out for. So that is for the NBA draft. And, man, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't followed our social media pages, you're watching on YouTube, wherever you may be watching, yeah, you may want to click and subscribe. No, don't do it. Don't maybe it. Do it right now. Do it right now for me. And also follow The Grind Session on Instagram, also on Twitter, and then also Tanager Sports on Instagram and Twitter as well. A lot of teams making roster updates, making big moves, landing big-time talent, and we're going to keep you updated with that as well. From our prolific preps to our saviors, Central Point, all of our grind session teams, we're going to be keeping up with those teams and their roster moves. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. Make sure you continue to follow us. This is AJ Martin with the Tanager Sports Report.